Welcome to this video coverage of round 2 of my tournament played in Bad Wiessee, Bavaria, Germany. Yeah, the second round of a Swiss system tournament usually brings a somewhat higher rated opponent than the first one in case you have won the game, and this is no exception. The second round, my opponent was Hans-Peter Roettig. He's rated 2081, so a little bit more than 130 points higher than my first round opponent. Yeah, it's a color switch. I've got the white pieces in this game, and this was the first game actually where some preparation was possible. I had a look at his games, and I noticed that he plays the Dutch defense all the time. Against e4 he played sharp Sicilians, which pretty much ruled out any idea of me playing e4 as a surprise. I don't really want any super sharp stuff then. And against d4 he played the Dutch. So okay, I was thinking what to do against the Dutch, and I was looking for some sideline that is having some bite, but it's not so well known. And at the end I came up with the following: f5, and I went knight c3. Yeah, one idea of those sidelines is that very often black does not get to play his desired setup. In the case of my opponent, he is a Leningrad Dutch player, so he likes to play a setup based on g6. And after knight c3, a g6 based setup is hard to achieve. Knight f6 was played. Yeah, I was threatening e4. So if black is not reacting in any way and plays that, I'm going to go e4 and open up the position to my advantage. Yeah, he went knight f6, which I also expected. He had like 2 games with this. Then bishop g5 is the normal move, again trying to prepare the push e2 to e4. He played d5 now. Yeah, this is the main move there, trying to prevent e4 and not just trying. This move is prevented now. But what I do like about this setup is that it's a slight psychological victory for white, as there is no Leningrad type of play with d6, g6 and e5 anymore. This dark squared kind of strategy is gone, and now we have something that looks more like a stone wall with d5 and f5. This is not super great for white, but it's a position type that I hope that my opponent is not that familiar with. Here white has 2 principal choices. He can take on f6 and then go e3, or white can play e3 immediately. To be honest, I'm not such a huge fan of this line, the capture on f6 line, because as I feel that black has a pretty decent game. He can very often put his pieces like that and castle long, and I'm not totally sure what white's plan is. Sometimes you can play with a3, b4, put something on c5. Yeah, there are ideas, but I don't like it that much. In my preparation, I found that there's also the move e3, which is less known, but not bad. After e3, he went e6, and I just play knight f3. So I'm just playing normal development moves. The only drawback, of course, of white's position is that I have a knight on c3. Yeah, this does not look right. But it is not that terrible actually. He went bishop e7 here. Yeah, maybe you can argue that the move c5 immediately is more interesting. The point is, or one fact is, that he played c5 in the game just 1 move later, and then after my capture he had to take 2 moves to capture c5, and here a possible capture on c5 could be answered with a recapture in 1 move. Yeah, okay, I won't take on c5, I guess, but yeah, c5 is interesting. One way to play is bishop b5 check then. What we shouldn't underestimate, by white having omitted the move c4, we are somewhat better developed as white. which sometimes can lead to interesting play. For example, if black plays bishop b7 here, the capture is quite interesting, as after queen takes, knight e5 sets immediate problems. Yeah, there are ideas like this, and the double capture on d7, which would yeah, bring the black king out. This, for example, was played in a number of games, and white didn't fare so badly. But I must admit that my preparation basically ended here. I was just thinking, okay, I'm getting him to a position that he's not so familiar with, and then we just play chess. Yeah, he went bishop e7. I went bishop d3. And he played c5. Yeah, of course I had seen this idea in my preparation. My prep basically consisted of just playing through some games, and this was something that I noted or noticed, that after c5, white has a good option in capturing. Yeah, now castles, knight c6, and then knight a4. This was a maneuver that I found quite remarkable, and I had basically, yeah, memorized for the game that this is something that I should do if the opportunity is coming up. He went to e7 now, and I play c4. That's the idea. With knight a4 and c4, I'm getting the c pawn into play and get some pressure on d5. This is intensified like that. Yeah, so what is this? This is a little bit like a queen's gambit, the whole structure, with bishop on g5 and c4, bishop on d3. The only weird thing is black has played f5. Yeah, if he in this position could play f5 back to f7, his position would be super solid, really. Nothing happening at all. But that's not the case. The pawn is on f5, and this means that the center is a little bit weakened. It's nothing terrible, but he always has to worry that he gets some problems with his central pawns. For example, if he plays a move like h6, I can take and play something like that, and we see the problems that come with the f-pawn push. Just one possible line that can arise. He didn't play h6. He played the move knight to e4. Yeah, knight to e4 instead. Yeah, after that, I think white has a slight advantage, which probably is a fair assessment of the whole variation here. White is a little bit better. I captured now on e7. He took with the queen. Yeah, and in this position, I took a longer think, like 15 minutes or so, which is a little bit uncommon for me. I tend to play really quickly in tournament chess. Yeah, the thing is, I took some time because, well, I recognized that c takes d5 is certainly a little bit better for me, but I wondered if I maybe have some other idea. This after c takes, knight takes, b takes, pawn takes, and now let's say queen b3, bishop e6, knight d4 is a little bit better for me. But I wasn't totally satisfied with that. I was thinking, okay, is there some other idea that that is possible? Here white is a little bit better because, well, this is a bit weak, this is a bit weak. The bishop on e6 is not great, so a slight edge for white. But, well, I was looking at alternatives in this position. And then I recognized the move that I liked. And, yeah, it turns out that my calculation or what I was seeing wasn't totally spot on, but I still like the idea. I played the move queen to b1, which is not very obvious in a way, but it has some interesting points. One idea is that the queen is x-raying the b-pawn. Sounds weird, but there is some point to it. For example, if black plays now, let's say a move like bishop d7, just developing, then I take, and after knight takes, b takes, e takes, this hangs. This is an idea of the queen being on b1. Or alternatively, if black plays a move like, yeah, like b6, for example, I have this kind of idea. the queen can be activated and used against those loose pieces of pawns. It turns out that the move is not really that great, queen b1. I think the simple cd5 was better, but it's still interesting. And sometimes, I mean, you can always play the standard moves, but if you are attracted by an interesting solution, why not? This the move also has additional ideas, and we see this now. Black now played not this move, but he took on c3, and he took on c4. And now we see another idea of the queen here. I'm intending to go here and play e4. Yeah, this is in fact happening in the game. He played knight a5. That seems to be okay. Bishop d3. And now he played a very committal move. And this is a line that I had seen when I played queen b1. That the move e5 now is slightly questionable. But this is what he played. If you analyze this here with the computer will just play the move b6. And this is something that I did not really assess correctly in the game. I was thinking that after b6, e4, I should be better. One idea of the queen and bishop configuration. It's clear that black, of course, cannot take. This is a very simple double attack, but black can in fact just go here. And this is quite okay for him. Yeah, I did not really appreciate that. The problem is that a capture here on f5 is far less effective because, well, he can take it. No, and I mean, there are even very embarrassing lines like that available. Which means that I cannot take, and I will probably play a move like maybe knight d4 here. After which the computer just yeah, very simply plays g6, yeah. And it seems that I don't have anything great. I mean, white is not worse or anything, but it's probably just about equal. In the alternative line with the earlier c takes d5, I think white has a stable slight edge. So this is probably the reason why my continuation with queen b1 isn't that great. However, he played e5. This is what I had anticipated, and in fact after that I think white has a little bit of an advantage. It's not great, this edge, but it is a bit more comfortable for white. The reason is the following: e4. And well, it's clear that now black should not take. This just leads to a great position for white. I have this pressure with this fantastic bishop, and there is additional pressure put on e5. So black basically has to play f4. There is no choice. And now queen b5 is coming. An additional point of the queen b1 idea. Yeah, hangs. Okay. We have to go back. And now rook a b1. This is what I had envisioned earlier. I have the b file, I have pressure against e5, and I have this additional idea, which intensifies the pressure. However, it seems that black is not in such a terrible shape if he is precise. For example, the move rook b8 here in this position would have led to a decent position for black. After the check and bishop d5, during the game I was thinking that this should be better for white because bishop takes c6 is a serious threat. However, it's not that much of a problem. Black can really play just this move because after this he has rook b to e8, surprisingly. Yeah, I mean the capture is not that good because here he always has to reckon with these kind of ideas. Yeah, or rook b4, let's say, and then the move. But rook b to e8 is surprisingly strong, as I really have very little prospects to keep my pawns. Yeah, those pawns are really weak, and the bishop is much stronger than the knight. It seems that black has no problems here whatsoever. So there are interesting defensive resources. The position is less convincing for white than I thought. But he didn't play rook b8, he played rook to f6, which is not bad probably, but I think what he tried to do is really to get an attack on my king. Something like rook over and then push the pawn here. And this is, frankly speaking, not very realistic. The rook has some counterplay value on the 6th rank, but it's very tough to get a real attack going. I simply have too much pressure in the center and on the queen side. Okay, I went with the check and bishop d5 as planned. And yeah, the situation got a little bit critical now for black, also because I had a huge advantage on the clock. This is a typical situation that I had in the whole tournament. I usually was far ahead on the clock because I tend to play quickly in tournament chess. And I'm not really much of a perfectionist there. If I think that I have a good move, I usually play it and don't look for a very long time for the best move. Yeah, what is the idea? Simply to take and take e5. Black really does not have much choice. He has to play a6. And now I drop back to b2. Yeah, why to b2? I wanted to go to b6. I mean, I would have liked to go there, but then he has this discovered motif on the queen. So no way I can go to b6, I have to go to b2. Not a bad square. The reason is that it looks at the e5 pawn. So one possible idea is to push c4 and then maybe win the e5 pawn. Yeah, here he played the move rook g6, which is fairly logical after he went rook f6. And I don't think I have anything better than king to h1. This is, I think, a good move, and I played it rather quickly. I need to get out of this bishop h3 ideas. Yeah, and here we have the decisive position of the game. As mentioned, he was already a little bit in slight time pressure. And yeah, here black definitely needs to play a defensive move. He has to prepare the bishop move from c8. As long as I have this pressure on the b7 pawn, he cannot ever develop the bishop. So I think the move that he should play is rook b8. And after rook b8, for example, it might continue along these lines. Maybe h3. That's not so easy, this decision, because it might allow the bishop to sacrifice itself, but I still think I should prevent bishop to g4. Yeah, and now, for example, bishop d7, rook d1, rook h6, rook d3. Something like that is a logical continuation. And here, white is a little bit better, but it's nothing totally clear or decisive. So he can definitely fight on. It's nothing serious for white. However, he played a really hard to explain move. I think he said that he just confused the move order, and he played the move queen to d7, which really shocked me, because I was thinking, okay, I can just take c6, and what exactly is the problem? I was a little bit stunned here, because I thought, well, what did I overlook here? Yeah, in fact, I didn't overlook anything. White can just take on c6, and now knight takes e5 is coming. And this was basically just a blunder. He was banking on the fact that he has a counter threat here, but I can just play rook g1, and I'm covering everything. There is really no attack whatsoever. Yeah, he now tried the move rook to oops, sorry, this was the wrong button. The move rook to h6. Yeah, he simply has no move. Whatever way he takes, I'm going to fork him, and there is no attack after the rook is falling on g6. Yeah, he tried the relatively best move. He played rook h6, and it's lost anyway. But here at least I can play a terrible mistake after this move. I'm going to get checkmated. So it's not too late to play stupid stuff and kill yourself. Yeah, in fact, if we look at this, I have a very safe king. Yeah? The knight is always protecting h2, the rook is protecting g2, and there is nothing serious going on. I can simply take on b7 here and win this pawn, and in the at the same moment trade off pieces. Yeah, he went rook b8, and I can even just play bishop takes c8 because of the counter attack on the queen. The move rook takes b2 is no problem at all, with white being 2 pieces up. So after bishop c8, he played rook c8, and I continued with c4. Yeah, of course, he can resign basically, but he didn't have much time and just played on for a couple of moves. He went rook h3, funny move. I can take it, yeah, there is no reason not to, but I can just take e5 as well, intending the rook move to b8. I had seen the line up to the end of the game, and I was hoping that it appears on the board, and it did. He took here, check, rook g2, and now he played rook g8. Black is a pawn down, but he also saw the nice point now, but he wanted to play it out because it looks nice. Queen takes g7 check, and here he resigned, facing mate after rook b8, and rook takes g8 mate. So I scored the second win in round 2. Very important to keep close to the to the pack of leaders. If we go back, let's have a quick recap. Yeah, we had this slightly offbeat line in the Dutch. It seems that after his setup here with knight e4, the move c takes d5 gives white a slight edge, but I felt attracted to this idea of playing queen to b1. I still like it. I mean, it's probably the second best move or third best move in the position, but still I like the idea. It's an interesting way to play. Yeah, after this, it seems that b6 was a good way for black to play, but he went e5. And I think after that, white is a little bit better, but it is not a clear affair. As we had seen, if he here improves with rook b8, the whole situation stays very murky. He still has some kind of counterplay here on the king side, and I'm not winning quickly on the queen side or anything. So something that really needs to be played out with an unclear outcome in a way. Yeah, okay, I hope you enjoyed the coverage of this game, and maybe you can use this line against the Dutch in your games. If you look for a non-theoretical line against the Dutch, then this setup is very nicely playable. It's not much work at all to memorize. If you know this game and maybe a couple of others, you can easily play it, and it's something that that will very often get black out of his normal comfort zone, because you don't get to play a g6 setup. Yeah, I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching.